Good afternoon and welcome to Locked On NBA Daily. On today's show, LeBron James made his return to the Lakers last night, but are we buying his new role with the team? Meanwhile, Steve Kerr is reigniting an old debate that we've had over the NBA schedule, and a new report indicates that more changes could be coming to Dallas. Let's jump in.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. However you're tuning in on YouTube or on your podcast app, thanks for making us your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. I'm Wes Goldberg. Today, we're talking about how the NBA can make the schedule better for players and the latest drama out of Dallas, and we're doing it with the help of Locked On's local experts. I have two of the best with me, as always. From the Locked On Nuggets podcast, senior NBA writer for the Action Network, it's Matt Moore. Matt?
Hey, guys, what's up? Should be a great slate of games. I'm so excited for Cavs Rockets tonight. It's going to be a phenomenal game.
From the Locked On Bulls podcast, also a Bears and Bulls creator for Bleacher Report, it's Haize.
Hey, we're here talking basketball, the best thing to do in the world, and one of the best seasons we've had in a long time. So there you go.
I love the optimism to start today's show. Let's start with the big story of the day. LeBron James made his season debut last night for the Lakers. He finished with 11 points and 12 assists in 29 minutes as the Lakers beat the Jazz. A bit of a slow start for everybody involved on the Lakers side of things. And then we started to see how LeBron fits in with the Lakers and a team that was playing really well without him. Here's more from Locked On Lakers.
He looked more comfortable as the game went along, and there's a lot of not wanting to step on each other's toes, not looking like you're trying to do no, you can do this. No, you can do this. No. After you, sir. And for about 30-ish minutes, it almost felt like tentative offense. And then Luka just started letting it rip. And then from there, it felt like everyone began letting it rip, including LeBron and everyone around LeBron. And for the last, 10 or so minutes of this game where the guys who are in the rotation played, they looked really good.
The minutes that Luka isn't on the floor are going to get significantly easier for the Lakers.
Matt, what did you make of LeBron's debut? Did you agree with Andy and Brian there that it was a little bit of a slow start and then it looked better as it went on?
Yeah, I mean, I think his biggest capacity is kind of as a secondary playmaker. If he's willing to kind of play that role, it's going to help them a lot just from how their kind of roster is built. They do have, I think, still kind of a glut of, you've got Reaves, 26 points last night. You got Luka, 37 points last night. And so the question is just like, what does LeBron do on this team? Like, what is the biggest addition that he can make? And that doesn't have to be like just because there isn't something obvious or clear or special. Like, he doesn't have to be a specialist role player. He could just be, he just good basketball player. He does a lot of different things, can help them in a lot of different capacities. I am just still curious about how he feels about that and like how that kind of plays out over the course of the season as he tries to adapt to where he's at this point in his career at this age, which so few players have ever gotten to.
Yeah, I mean, we're in uncharted territory as far as, like you said, like as far as the age and this point that he's in his career. But I do feel like you're seeing how and where this could work for the Lakers going forward. And specifically talking about those off when Luka's off the court minutes and how LeBron can help them with that. Like, that's almost the perfect use for LeBron James at this stage in his career on this specific team. And we'll see if it works out like we talked about yesterday. It's all about LeBron being ready to embrace whatever role they need and take up that spot of, I'm just going to do what's needed out here in this moment and with this rotation, whatever it is. And that if that works out for this for LeBron, then yeah, it could be the best for this Lakers team.
Haize, you mentioned the uncharted territory that we're in. We are quite literally not having ever seen this from LeBron James. His usage rate last night of 13.3% was the lowest he's had in a game in his entire career, according to StatMuse. It's also the first time in his career that he attempted 7 or fewer shots in a game in which he played more than 21 minutes. Michael Pina wrote it for The Ringer. He kind of phrased it differently. It's the fewest attempts he's ever had a game in which he's finished. In other words, not gotten either ejected or fouled out or injured during that game. Matt, Is that just something that you attribute to first game back, didn't really get his wind right away? And LeBron talked about maybe not having his wind in this game after last night's game. Do you expect maybe, I guess the better way to phrase it, what do you expect from LeBron in terms of his usage on this offense?
I don't know how much room there is for him. And that's like one of the interesting questions here is how much he demands, right? Because like it's Luka's team. That's very obvious. Reaves is in a contract here and he's fit in. I don't really know what to expect here from LeBron. And I don't feel like he doesn't have to do anything. It's not like he has to live up to the $52 million player option. He doesn't have to set himself up for free agency. Like there's nothing left for him to do here. And so he's just, he can take a backseat because there's no problem for him or the Lakers for him to do that. I do think like one of the interesting questions here is what does he make them better at? Right. And if you look at the starters, plus 14 for Hachimura, plus 10 for Ayton, plus 10 for Reaves, plus 10 for Luka. Everybody on the floor was double-digit pluses because they were playing the Utah Jazz. LeBron was a +1. It's single game plus minus. I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. But Haize, like, this is not even like a I don't know because there isn't one. I'm genuinely curious. What do you think it is that he brings to this Lakers team that they need?
I think he still bring facilitating. I think he bring still some reliability because you know what LeBron can do when he's out there on the court. And I just think like a little bit of everything. Like he's still a really good rebounder. He can still block shots at times. Like he still brings a lot of things that any team needs from any player. And that's why like you can't count out LeBron.
Is he kind of, this is a weird comp, but is he kind of like a super-sized Lonzo Ball a little bit? 2 of 3 from 3. 12 assists, can defend a little bit, and especially in passing lanes, interrupt things. Like, is that a crazy comp for kind of what the kind of role that they want from him?
I mean, based on just this game, yeah. I mean, I'll say yeah. I mean, that's a really good comp for him. Now, we don't know if it's going to be exactly like this every game, if his usage is going to be quite this low, but that's not a bad comp at all for the way that he played this game.
I thought what was interesting is his ability to get DeAndre Ayton going in this game, basically throughout, because of the position that he plays. He's typically going to be drawing another big out of the paint, and if he's out on the perimeter, those 4-5 pick and rolls, or whatever we want to call them, 3-5 pick and rolls, if we really want to call Rui the 4 or whatever it is, that tended to have a strong impact for Ayton. LeBron's first assist of the game was to Ayton in a little mid-range jumper. He's still really the only guy who matchup hunts, I feel like, on this group. Luka does a little bit of it, but he's really just going to ISO against anybody. Like, he kind of will just get bored of mismatch hunting and then just kind of take it to anybody he wants to. LeBron's going to force defenses to scramble a lot more, and I'm really interested to see how that impacts guys around him.
Yeah, Luka likes targeting the toughest guys on the team. It's a weird trend I've noticed from him throughout the years is Luka will go hunt down like whoever your best defender is. He'll be like, I'm going at that guy. Versus LeBron's much more like, oh, I can get a small on me and I can post him, or oh, I can get this big on me, those kind of things.
Hey, right now the Lakers, I think, are 12th in offensive rating, and that's with Luka and Austin Reaves playing the way they are. But we know the stats with Luka off the court, with Reaves on the court. They're averaging 1 point per 100 possessions fewer than the league average offense. So that's really what's dragging that offensive rating down. What do you think the expectation should be with LeBron in there? If he's the guy that, as Andy and Brian were talking about in that clip before, when Luka's off the court, LeBron's on the court and he's kind of doing all of the facilitating. Do you think that, I don't know, top 10, top 5, like what should be a realistic expectation for the Lakers offense moving forward?
I mean, I think top 10 is a realistic goal. I mean, you have to be elite for me to predict top 5, but you should be able to have a top 10 offense for everything that you have here as far as facilitating, scoring with Reaves, what Luka Dončić can do. So, yeah, I'd say top 10 is a good place to aim.
Matt? Muted.
Some of the numbers for Reaves without Luka are kind of impacted by garbage time. So Data Baller takes out low leverage situations, and they've got Reaves without Luka at 117. What's shocking is like, I just went through these splits. It doesn't matter who's on the court. Luka Dončić has a 127. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. No pick and roll guy, no problem. Can play 5 out. No surrounding guard, secondary playmaker, no problem. 127. Like, again, Luka's going to be in the MVP conversation late. He may not win it because of a lot of things going on with the Thunder, but man alive. Luka's just I don't really think it matters how good they are in the non-Luka minutes, because they're going to be so good in the Luka minutes.
Coming up, Steve Kerr raised concerns about the NBA's schedule as teams embrace playing faster. Is there anything that the NBA can do? We'll talk about that next. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Daily is brought to you by Skims. When Skims announced they were making underwear for men, the reaction made perfect sense. People have been talking about Skims comfort for years. Most guys, though, stick to whatever they've been buying since college. The same fits, the same waistbands that roll, and a whole lot of settling. Skims Men's changes that. One upgrade, and it's obvious why everybody's been talking about Skims. But once I tried Skims Men's underwear, I got the hype immediately. They're designed to feel good, they fit right, they actually stay put, no slipping, no sagging, no adjusting, just genuinely great underwear that makes you feel confident and comfortable all day long. My favorite pair is their cotton 5-inch boxer brief. What stood out right away was the fit and the fabric. Soft, supportive, and comfortable all day. They don't ride up, they don't lose their shape, and they hit exactly where they're supposed to on the thigh. Whether you're working, traveling, working out, or just hanging out at home, these feel better than anything that you've used before. I honestly didn't expect underwear to be a game changer, but Skims completely surprised me. Shop Skims Men's now at skims.com, and when you place your order, choose podcast in the post-purchase survey and select our show, Locked On NBA, from the drop-down menu to let them know that we sent you. Plus, the Skims holiday shop is open, so if you're looking for the perfect gift this season, Skims has you covered. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA season is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than on FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game more exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Matt was talking about Luka Dončić being late in the or being a candidate in the MVP race. Shea right now is still the favorite. Nikola Jokic has the second best odds, but there's Luka, third best odds at plus 400. If you're buying Luka Dončić for MVP, now might be the time to get in. FanDuel keeps every game exciting, especially when you want to be betting on the games on a nightly basis. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily. The best way to support the show is to subscribe on YouTube. We air Mondays to Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, wherever you get your podcasts. The Warriors are playing the Heat tonight on the second night of a back-to-back. They lost a tough one in Orlando last night, in which their core players all played more than 30 minutes. After the game, Steve Kerr was asked whether Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy Butler would play tonight in Miami, and he said he didn't know. He then got into a bigger conversation, guys, about rest and the NBA's schedule, and said that he's very concerned that the NBA's increased pace that we're seeing lately, combined with the condensed 82-game schedule, is leading to more injuries. He said, quote, "We have all the data. Players are running faster and further than before. We are trying to do the best we can, but we basically have a game every other night. It's not an easy thing to do," end quote. Haize, do you agree with Steve Kerr that the league needs to take a new look at the schedule based on the way that teams are playing lately?
I do. I just don't think, I know we're going to have a conversation in regards to like cutting down the number of games. I just don't ever see the NBA doing that. It's too much money out on the table. But I do think you can change the scheduling. For example, something I've always thought about with scheduling is, why don't you try to adopt more like a series model like the MLB does, to where, like, if you know in division you're going to play 2 road games against the teams that are in your division, why not play both those games over 2 or 3 days to limit travel? It gets you an opportunity to have more practices rather than just shoot around, which is something else Steve Kerr brought in this, is the fact that they don't have practices because of how much they travel. For example, the Bulls go to LA. You should play both your away games against the Clippers and the Lakers while you're in LA over 2 or 3 days, and just cut down the travel that much. It gets you more practice time. It cuts down a little bit of the travel. It doesn't necessarily cut down on the games played, but I do think you can cut some things and make it a little bit better on players doing it that way.
Because unlike baseball, you cannot book an arena for that many days consecutively. That's the problem. So if we're going to do this based off of the whole, like, if we're going to make the argument, if we're going to dismiss the argument of shortening the schedule based off of the idea, well, they're never going to agree to the money. Well, their teams are never going to agree to those kind of changes to the schedule either, because you've got so many more concerts than you did 30 years ago. Like,
yeah, I'm not talking about having them back to back though. Like, teams have now 2-3 game home stretches. You can do that still just against the same team.
Yeah, but what winds up happening then is you do lose access to those facilities a lot of the time because not every team has practice facilities the other team can visit. So you're losing out on that practice time on top of it. And on top of that is you've got the maintenance that goes on in between games. Like you would wind up having fewer days in between games because of that kind of sequence. And that's hard to do. Like if you're like, well, you just move them around, it's more complicated than that because of the arena dynamics. There's talks about expanding the schedule. I hate this idea personally. Like, I just don't really want to see the NBA starting. Like, I don't think the NBA season needs to be longer. If you talk to casual fans, they're just like, the season is so long. You know, like, I don't think anybody wants basketball to go from September through July. Like, I just don't think that that's what's in anyone's, like, even the most psycho of us. I don't know that we want that much of a spread out period of time. I'm with Haize that, like, I'm open to the series idea if they can pull it off. I don't know that they can. Look, I understand all the money considerations here. I'm not dismissing them. I'm not ignorant of the capitalist imperative, but there is, to me, a bubble forming here, and like this has been talked about a lot. How can the league be getting less popular and the money for the TV deals be going up? If you want to insulate against a potential bubble burst, a great way to do it is to actually improve the product. And that means reducing the schedule. If you're able to reduce the schedule and be like, you're going to get better games if you were going to this game, there is an 80% chance you're going to get to see your favorite player versus right now when it's like, what, 60, 65 for a home game on the road. It's like, what, 50% chance that guy's going to be available to play. The number of soft tissue injuries that we're having, particularly calves, which is increasing that risk of Achilles that we saw last year with that spate. Like, we have to at some point be honest and realistic about what's happening here with the sport. Now, like, maybe the answer is like, okay, nope, no, money. Fine. Then the teams are just going to have to slow down. Like, we're just going to have to go back to grind it out 80 possession basketball. I don't love that idea. I think it's hard to, like, teams are always in this position of, we're in a hyper competitive league. There's so much money on the line. We have to do everything. This is the best path for us to win. But it's like, all right, it's the best path for you to win, but it hurts this creates an impossible series of problems that could all be fixed by shortening the schedule.
Adam Silver has brought up the idea of reducing the minutes from 12 to 10 minutes a quarter. But that's kind of roundly just been not. I think that's trying to find an answer. That's not an actual answer. Right. It's sort of a bad compromise. To Matt's point, I don't understand the NBA either. I get that they're making a ton of money on this TV schedule, but guess what? You just signed the TV schedule. Like, you got the new media rights deal. Maybe that should be less of a concern. The NBA is literally sitting on a better product that it refuses to give out to its consumers. And I heard somebody say this the other day, and it really stuck with me. They're surprised when they turn on an NBA game and all the players are playing. Surprised was the word that they used. That's not a good place for the NBA to be in, Haize.
It's not. No, I mean, and the thing is like, shortening the schedule is the right answer here. I don't disagree with Matt in that shortening the schedule should be the answer. And maybe it's just me I just don't believe these owners are going to risk losing that much money on that, whether it affects the quality of the product or not. But shorten the schedule should be the answer. Yeah,
I wonder if there's other ways to kind of make up that revenue and also like how much are we talking here if we reduce it by, I'm not talking, everyone most of the experts are kind of like 66 is like the number. That's where a lot of them get to is like, if you drop it by 15 games to 67 games, that would be ideal. But like, okay, let's just drop it by 7 games. Let's go from 82 to 75. That's 7 fewer back-to-backs. That's 7 fewer 3 and 4s.
Yep.
That's just such a massive.
But think about it this way, man. And I get what you're saying, but like on average, like teams are making between like $2 and $7 million for each home game. So each game, like that's a lot of money to miss out for cut games with that much.
Counter. That's like half of what Patrick Williams makes in a year. So like,
be smarter with your money, which that solves a lot of this too. Like, be smarter with your money. So.
Look, back-to-backs are insane, and I think we're right to focus on the back-to-back. There's 100 other concerns, like Haize was talking about with travel, the lack of practice time, like as Steve Kerr alluded to in his post-game comments. But back-to-backs should really be the first thing that they figure out a way to get rid of. Like the idea of back-to-backs is insane. Like in the NFL, you don't play you don't play a game on Saturday and then play a game on Sunday. Right? You're not playing on Sunday afternoon and then turning around and playing Monday Night Football. And somehow we've normalized the idea of back-to-backs in the NBA. And I'm really hoping that one day we get to a place where we look at we don't have back-to-backs anymore. And the way we talk about them is the way that we talk about players smoking cigarettes in the locker room at halftime. It's like, wow, I can't believe we did that at one point because it was just so bad for people.
I do want to stress, though, every athletic scientist person that's involved in like heavy training science backs up Haize here. Like nobody wants it more than the coaches. I don't think players want more practice because they're like, I don't make money off of practice. I make money off of games. I don't make money playing in front of people, in front of nobody. But like, it's clearly better for them. We would get better teams, better games. You would solve more problems. You would have more time for strength and conditioning. Like all of these things. And these are tied, right? Fewer back-to-backs means, oh, yeah, an off day. Hey, let's have a practice tomorrow. We're going to have a light practice. We're going to go through some concepts and actually try and solve this problem we're having with our zone. Like, just give them a little bit more, and we're going to get so much out of it.
You would think that the billionaire owners who have made billions and billions of dollars off of business would be forward-looking enough in business to recognize exactly what we're all saying here, but maybe they're not. We'll see what happens. Coming up next, there's a new report that the Mavericks will explore trading Anthony Davis, which teams make the most sense as a possible destination, and can also help the Mavericks in their rebuild, which apparently Mark Cuban is going to have a say in. We'll talk about all of that next here on Locked On NBA Daily. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Daily is brought to you by Rippling. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's sad. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. What I love about Rippling is how it removes the bottlenecks in busy work that slow teams down. Everything from onboarding to payroll to IT access runs automatically and perfectly in sync. It's seriously simple to use and gives companies one source of truth for their people, data, and everything they touch. Whether you want to run your entire HR, IT, and finance operations as one, or just fill the gaps in your software stack, Rippling can do it all. And right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/lockedonnba. Learn more at Rippling, rippling.com/lockedonnba. That's rippling.com/lockedonnba for 6 months free. Thanks for making Locked On NBA Daily your first listen every day. The Locked On Podcast Network has a show for every team. Check out Locked On Lakers and Locked On Mavericks for more on today's top stories. Guys, ESPN ran an in-depth piece this morning outlining the Mavericks' power struggle that led to Nico Harrison getting fired and Mark Cuban regaining a say in basketball matters. In it, Tim McMahon reported that the Mavs will explore the trade market for Anthony Davis. Definitely encourage people to go and read that whole piece in full because there's a lot of juicy details in terms of the power struggle between Harrison, Patrick Dumont, the new Mavericks owner, and Mark Cuban, the former Mavericks owner. But, Matt, we're going to focus here on the Anthony Davis trade stuff because that's the fun thing to do. You came up with a few trade ideas for us to sort of bat back and forth.
Yeah, so I think that the better idea to kind of think about this exercise is less of like, hey, let's figure out what trade should be made, and more of like, we're trying to figure out what's the value of AD right now. Like, what do the three of us think about what's fair or not fair for Anthony Davis at this point in his career? I will start with this one. There's a construct with the Knicks that involves OG Anunoby. I'm just like, are you really gonna you're really going to tear apart that much of the Villanova guys? You're going to take away, that seems tough. It might be easier, but let's start here, though. Karl-Anthony Towns and Mohamed Diawara for Anthony Davis. Haize, you get a better rim protector in Davis. You lose the spacing that Cat provides, but they got him in order to kind of counter the Celtics, who are, at least in the short term, not part of the conversation. What do you think about AD for Towns?
I actually like it a lot for what that team's missing. Man, they just traded for Karl-Anthony Towns. Actually, that's a really good destination. And Jalen Brunson, AD, I like that combination. I don't hate it.
That's a really interesting way to kind of solve both teams' problems, not only because what you're talking about, Matt, with the Knicks, it's how are we going to build a contender around Towns and Jalen Brunson, But for the Mavericks, it's also how are we going to create space for Cooper Flag? How are we going to let him roam and do all the things that we need him to do? Anthony Davis, not necessarily that floor spacer anymore. Their salaries are almost identical. It feels like that could be a pretty easy trade to make, although the Knicks are really up against second apron, so maybe not. But they can add a smaller deal to your point to get that thing done. I kind of love it, honestly. I kind of love it for both teams here. The only problem, I guess, with the Mavericks is what are we going to really do with Karl-Anthony Towns? But you could flip him down the road for something else.
Yeah, but also you can play him at power forward, right? So you play Cooper at 3, him at 4. Like Towns knows how to play power forward around another center. So you still have Lively for all of the liveliness. And then you move off of Gafford and you have Towns and Lively. That's actually a really good combo in terms of athleticism, and you're able to play small ball. I like that one a lot. Here's another one. This one is definitely like swapping out different problems. Okay, so the Hawks have Kristaps Porzingis. I get that. And the Jalen Johnson thing and Zachary Risache, it creates a logjam here. But if we're just looking at, hey, Cooper Flag needs a point guard next to him. He needs a point guard. The Hawks are definitely like in position where it seems like they're moving in a different, like, I don't know how you look at this and not be encouraged by what they're playing like right now. Trae Young for Anthony Davis straight up. I don't love this one, but it's like an idea of who's more valuable, do you think? Like, who says no there, Haize? Like, who's more valuable, Trae Young or Anthony Davis?
Man, probably Trae. I don't know, because he's on the court more, but Anthony Davis is more of a two-way player. That's the thing that balances all this, is like Anthony Davis, how much you trust he's going to be on the court. I probably still lean Trae a little bit there, even though I'm not the biggest Trae Young guy at all.
So our Locked On Top 100 had Anthony Davis ranked 14th, Trae Young ranked 26th. Now, when that came out, I thought we ranked Trae Young a little too low in that, but that's what we did it as a network. I don't know where you guys had him in your rankings. So the network would say Anthony Davis is definitely the more valuable guy, but to your point, Matt, as a fit, Anthony Davis in Atlanta, ignoring the Trae Young, I think I pitched a Trae Young to Dallas trade before. I don't remember what maybe it was for Anthony Davis, but Anthony Davis in Atlanta does make some sense because you could play him with Kristaps Porzingis. If Anthony Davis is really gung-ho about playing the 4, I think you could, Porzingis as a floor spacer, you can make that work. Onyeka Okongwu is apparently the Steph Curry of centers now. He's just shooting threes all the time. So maybe that's something that could work.
Yeah, and like, again, I want to stress this. Anthony Davis is a way better player when he's available. This is an availability question. This is like, what's more valuable for you? And Trae's out right now, so that makes it a little bit difficult, but so is AD. I'm really interested in this one. Drew Holiday and Jeremy Grant. So the Blazers get like a long-term solve at power forward. You can play him with Hansen Yang or Donovan Clingan. You want to go all in on defense, like Tamani Camara with Anthony Davis is really appealing. And for the Mavericks, it's, hey, you get Drew Holiday to help teach Cooper Flag how to like run the floor, like how to see the floor and play point guard. Jeremy Grant, PJ Washington. I really like that combo actually together. I think that's a really interesting combo forward package. Drew Holiday and Jeremy Grant for Anthony Davis.
Is thinking.
Not everybody will want.
No, I like it. I like it. I like it more than I don't like it. I was thinking about it for a second. I like it. I like it for a lot for that team, especially with them trying to make the playoffs this year. And it helps my Bulls because then they probably get their pick. So,
is that enough for AD, Wes? A veteran Drew Holiday, who I know you hate, and Jeremy Grant. Sorry, you don't like the contract. You think the contract will age badly. And Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, right. Not allowed to say anything about Drew Holiday. We've all agreed as a NBA media conglomerate that we don't do that. But the contract is bad. I don't like it. I don't like it for Dallas because now you're saddled with that contract, limits your flexibility. And I don't think it's enough for Anthony Davis. I think we do forget how good Anthony Davis is when he's out there. That Jeremy Grant contract's not a great one either, even though he's playing really well right now as a 6-man for Portland. And then for the Trailblazers, I like it as a talent play, but then I have questions about, like, what are we really doing here now?
Yeah. Well, I had that question about the Blazers in general.
Very fair.
I really like this one. Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett. Now, on the surface, that level of talent return sounds terrible, but think about this. You do get Quickly as a long-term point guard option. You're going to trade Kyrie, and you can bolster the roster with whatever you get with Kyrie. Barrett is such a buy low like, you're looking for the guy that it's like, he's really good. The numbers say he's really good, but he's not featured, but he could become so much better. RJ Barrett fits that to a T. Like every metric when you dive under the table is like RJ Barrett could be a lot better. Now maybe he's not. Maybe he's like limited in terms of he's only good in this role capacity. But it's a buy low spot on Barrett while picking up RJ. You get young guys next to Flag versus AD. The Raptors go all in with Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Anthony Davis.
Haize?
I like it. I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't like improving the Raptors too much because I just don't like that organization, but it's a good trade for them.
Is Mamu just off the table? Is he untouchable right now for Toronto? Can I get him if I'm Dallas?
Yeah, that would be a good throw in. If you could throw in something else to get Mamu, that'd actually be a really good fit there too.
I'm a big RJ Barrett fan. I like that for Dallas a lot. Quickly has been, after a slow start, playing a lot better for a Raptors team that was also playing a lot better as a team. I don't mind that one. Anything else? Is that the last one?
One more for you, Wes.
Oh no.
Tyler Hero.
The answer is no.
Tyler Hero, Andrew Wiggins, Simone Fontecchio for Anthony Davis and Klay Thompson.
Fontecchio's untouchable.
You can swap out Fontecchio for another contract. It's difficult, but Fontecchio's in a good position to do that. You get your basic argument here is, look, Davion Mitchell has proven that he is a top flight defender and playmaker. You've got Norman Powell for scoring. That's 1-2. You've got Jaime Jaquez or Nikola Jovic or whatever, like those two guys. One of those two guys at 3. You've got Anthony Davis or you got Bam Adebayo and Anthony Davis. Now, Khalil Ware is different. Like that's going to cause some problems with him probably, but you've got Bam Adebayo and Anthony friggin' Davis if he's healthy defensively with Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell, and Jaquez or Jovic. That's pretty freaking good.
I've thought about this, Matt. We've been asked about this on Locked On Heat a ton. We know that the Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo front court works because they won a gold medal together for Team USA. Now it also helps when they're playing next to LeBron and Steph and Kevin Durant. But I would have to say no. The other thing that we haven't really mentioned here is the Anthony Davis extension that he's going to need. Mm-hmm. And if you're betting on Anthony Davis at this stage in his career, and you're positioning him to be your number one guy, which is what Miami would be doing in that trade, I'm a little iffy about it.
Does it help you get Norman Powell back on a lesser deal? Because Powell's like, I get to stay in South Beach and I get to play next to AD. Because what if you save money on the Powell extension because you do this deal?
I don't see Powell doing it. It's not like that guy's made like James Harden, and James Harden was a bad example because he lost a lot of money. It's not like he's made a ton of money in his career. I think Powell's going to go after that extension, but no, it's not. Like I said, it's something that we've thought about a lot on Locked On Heat. Haize, what do you think about it?
I wouldn't do it if I'm the Heat, and it's nothing against the pairing of AD and Bam. That contract, man, and you guys just didn't re-sign Jimmy Butler. That's what I'm worried about. Like, how much do we think? Like, I think the key in that question would be how much do we think we're going to be re-signing Anthony Davis for on that contract extension, and that makes a huge difference.
I do need to stress here the Klay Thompson part of this because you get Klay Thompson with Megan Thee Stallion on South Beach.
That's true, and Klay Thompson can put his boat in the Miami Bay, which he'll appreciate. That is an underrated part of this.
We all win in this situation.
If the Heat pull this off and we all win in this situation as an NBA, and they can get like the Dallas Mavericks deal of, hey, send Luka to Los Angeles for the betterment of the league and we'll give you the number one pick, then sign me up. Then we'll figure it out. But unless I don't get that number one pick promise, then maybe not. If you like what you heard today, subscribe to Locked On NBA Daily wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Thank you to Matt and Haize for their expertise every day. Thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network your first listen. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on Locked On NBA Daily.